Yes, welcome back to the Sports and Swords episode 200, and this is the first segment of the day. It is live on a Tuesday morning, something that we don't typically do, but we are today because I played golf yesterday. I didn't play well, but I did win $20, so that's good. Other than that, it's the Brown 10-ish as usual, and we have some great stuff to talk about today because we're going to be talking today. First segment is going to be the NFC picks and predictions, and then we will go into our second segment, which will be right after that, and we're going to be doing the AFC, and then we will also be getting into a little Disney Plus and talking about later today on the Sorts. That'll be the third segment. We will be talking about a little Disney Plus. We will be talking about a little Rotten Tomatoes. And that'll be pretty much it for our show today. But you're going to get 3 separate segments. So this way, if you want to watch it, you don't only have one thing that you want to talk about. It'll give you that opportunity to kind of pick and choose what you want to look at. But yes, first, NFC. Second, AFC. Third, Disney Plus, Rotten Tomatoes. Possibly coming up with a new segment. The Bry Man came up with it over the weekend. I liked it. We're going to talk about it. But if you want to be notified when we go live, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live. And if you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. You can find Sports and Sorts on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on Twitter. You can find by typing in Sports and Sorts or Shane and the Bry Man or Shane and Bry Man, Facebook.com/Shane and the Bry Man, Twitter @Shane and Bry Man. Find me on Twitter @EinhornsFinkel.
Find me on Twitter at @the_Bry_man.
Because I am one of the hosts, and my name is Shane, and that is the Bry Man. Because that's why his Twitter handle is the _Bry_man. All right. Well, with that being said, we got a great show. Let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Swords with Shane and the Bry Man.
All right. What do we have talking about today?
The National
Football League. And we are talking NFC today. Right now, we're going to start off with the NFC East. So if you have a team that's in the NFC East, you want to hear what our predictions are, you can go ahead and please go ahead, put your predictions in the comments. If you have any issues with our picks, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. We'll put them on the screen, and we'll go from there. All right. So first up, I have the NFC East, and I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty certain that, like, you guys all, this is way too loud. I'm pretty certain that you guys, that's better, right? Much better?
A little more lower, please.
Lower, more? It's off now. No. It's off now. How's that?
Yeah, it's
all right, good. All right, so after that, I'm pretty certain that you guys are going to understand, you know where I'm going to go with this. I have the Eagles, of course, taking this division. Team is really good, and they have Carson Wentz, my man. And as long as he can stay healthy, they are really one of, if not the best teams in the NFC. And he has weapons to throw to. Their defense is good. And this team really should own this division and almost run away with it, especially since we don't know when Zeke is going to sign. I expect to see another Wentz MVP candidate season, and I have the Eagles going 11-5. Now we're going to go on to the second place. I have the Cowboys. They're going to fight for a playoff spot. I believe it. But I also believe that they're going to miss out. Once again, proving that Dak is not the quarterback you deserve, and especially without Zeke. I don't think that Dak will get it done. I have them at 8-8. The Giants are a team that's just confused, and confusion leads to anger, and anger leads to a bad year. Eli will not be the quarterback by week 5. I think the Giants are going to be at like 6-10 this year. And the Redskins I have finishing in last place. I have never liked Jay Gruden, and I think that this will probably be his last season as a head coach, and I have them finishing at 4-12.
Okay. Well, our orders are the same.
Wow.
Our records are a little bit.
Yeah. I'm actually not that surprised on this one. This one's, to me, this was like easy, almost.
Not necessarily. I did struggle a little bit. I would have struggled more with it if Zeke had been ready to go.
Yeah, and ready. Yeah.
I would have really struggled with it. But then they hit a snag over the weekend in contract to go, like, because they were saying on Friday or Saturday, I think it was actually Friday, that they were looking to get this thing done over the weekend. And then I'm thinking, all right, Zeke's going to be back in. And then they hit a snag, which basically just means Zeke wants to be the highest paid running back.
Yep.
That's the snag. There's nothing else going on here. So I don't have actually a whole lot of color to add to what you said, other than to say, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Redskins. I have the Eagles at 11-5 also.
Okay.
I have the Cowboys at 9-7, but missing.
Ooh.
And I do have the Giants at 6-10. This is maybe some wishful thinking. I'm hoping the Redskins get to 4 wins because I don't want anybody near the Dolphins, which may not be a problem based on our AFC predictions when we get to. But I just don't want anybody even potentially competing with the Dolphins for that number 1 pick.
Right.
Because the Redskins, you would think that they would not necessarily be in the market for a quarterback because they just drafted Dwayne Haskins in the first round this past year. But I don't trust any of that. There are some guys coming up in this quarterback class, like Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Fromm. There are some Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love. There's a lot of names in this class. So you never know. I mean, if the Redskins could learn a lot about a guy like Haskins in year 1, especially if he does play a lot, which I hope he does. And maybe they would say, this ain't the guy, and we're bad enough that we could address quarterback again. So I'm hopeful that the Redskins are like a 4-12, even 3-13 should be okay. Should even be okay.
Wow.
And we'll
that's saying something about
You'll
right.
understand why later.
All right. So let's get to the NFC West. I guess we can very easily run through this. Let me put my camera up. So I have the NFC West here, and everybody knows that I love the Rams. I'm actually wearing the Rams. I'm wearing my full Sean McVay style, clothing today.
Kind of look like him.
I'm trying to bring out my best Sean McVay look here today.
It's like if the Miz and Sean McVay did it. There you are.
So I love the Rams. I love the head coach. I love the quarterback. I love the wide receiving core. I love the running back. And even though Gurley will get used a little bit less this year, I still love him, and I think he will have a good year. On defense, they make plays, and I think this division will be a bit of a battle this year. But I do love the Rams, and I love their chance to get back to a second Super Bowl. I have them at 11-5, and we're not going to do our Super Bowl picks yet. That will come on Friday. But I do like their chances. I have in second place, I have the 49ers. I think this team would have been a lot better if Jimmy G stayed healthy last year. And I think this year it would have showed in their record. And I'm nervous about his health. So I'm going to say they're going to have a good season. This team is headed in the right direction. I'm going to have them at 9-7. The Seahawks I have finishing in third. I love Russ, and they've definitely added to their defense with Clowney, but Russ gets so beat up. I just have them at a much more difficult 9-7. Like, it's going to be a tough 9-7, where I think the 49ers are going to have some ups and downs, but they're a younger team, and they're going to feel good about their 9-7, whereas the Seahawks are just going to feel like they've just been beaten into the ground to get to that 9-7. The Cardinals is a team that's a bit in disarray. We will see if their decision to trade their number 1 pick from last year was wise.
They got their quarterback.
I have them at 4-12, and they could be an 8-8 team, but I need to see Kyler Murray perform in this league because it's a different league, and he is a different type of quarterback. So I need to see him perform in this league before I can give them a good record.
Okay.
What do you got?
We're not far off here. We're swapping our middle teams.
Okay. All right.
The Rams clearly are the class of this division. I've got them also at 11-5, which I think is where you had them.
Cool.
Seattle, I have at 9-7. I know they're not the Legion of Boom, and I know that there are some definite question marks I have with their.
They got more
game.
boom.
They did, and that's part of my reason why I'm bumping them up a little bit, because I like Clowney on that defensive line. I like him on an edge, and in there maybe he can cause some disruption. They do still have question marks at running back. I don't trust really either Carson or Penny, but we'll see what happens. I still think. See, this is the beauty of in the NFL. Hello, Miami Dolphins. This is the beauty of when you have a franchise quarterback, and especially one who's a top 10. it makes your team better. Everybody gets better. And Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Should be a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's whatever. I need to move past. We all need to move past that. But the bottom line is, I think the Seahawks get to 9-7. I'm with you on the Niners. Did you say the Niners 8-8? Because that's where I have them.
I have them 9-7.
Okay, so we swapped those two.
I had them both 9-7.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I've got the Niners 8-8. You know, they to me they are like a microcosm of like an average team.
Yeah.
The old win some lose some. That's the Niners to me.
But they have youth on their side, and they should be better in the future. Yeah.
They have a lot of youth. They have a lot of question marks. You know, like, so first of all, who is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be? Because I can honestly see him being a stud or a dud.
Yeah.
Like, there is a huge gap between his ceiling and his floor. Like, I am just so many questions. The running game, a lot of good names. You've got Matt Breida. You've got Tevin Coleman, who I think is going to be starting. So solid, but not spectacular.
Did Coleman get the start?
I think so. I think
he's not a lead back. He's
not. You're right.
He proved that last year. When Devontae Freeman went down, he did not do well.
Maybe it'll be Breida. I drafted Breida in one of the leagues late.
I think Breida would be a better decision, and then Tariq, and then Tevin Coleman can actually come out of the backfield like he did with the Falcons.
Yeah, and then you've got the somewhat early and enigmatic Dante Pettis, who is kind of being drafted in fantasy leagues as a number 1 wide receiver, but I think that's sort of being suppressed a little bit by Shanahan because I think he's really trying to. I think he's trying to give this kid some tough love, but we'll see. He looked a little inconsistent in the preseason, so we'll see where that goes. And then Cardinals. I have the Cardinals. I think just having Kyler Murray, because I just in seeing what I saw in the preseason, I really think it's all there. And this is the offense that Cliff Kingsbury wanted to build. Mm-hmm. I actually somehow see them getting to 5 wins. I think they're actually a 5-11 team, which is still not a good team. No, because their defense is still bad and their offensive line is going to have poor Kyler Murray on the run. But yeah, they're a 5-11 squad though. Okay, so that's where I'm at in the West.
All right, now we'll move on to the NFC North. I have the Green Bay Packers leading the way. I love me some Aaron Rodgers, and I do like the additions that they have made, particularly in the head coaching spot. I have a feeling that him and LaFleur will connect and make some serious noise. Hopefully, Rodgers stays healthy, so we can see this relationship really LaFleurish.
Jesus.
I have them at 10-6. This year. I do like this team. I do hope that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and I'm picking them to win their division. I have the Vikings in second place. I think this team should be better than they were last year, and I think that the Bears were a bit fluky, mainly because I don't trust Trubisky. I think Kirk Cousins has a good year this year. I think he had a good year last year. They just didn't win for him. I think he has a good year this year, and they lead him. I mean, they were 8-7-1 last year. And I think this year they're going to be a little bit better. I think they're going to be 9-7. So not a huge increase, but I do have them fighting for a playoff spot. Bears, as I said before, I don't trust Trubisky. I love Nagy as a head coach, but I do not like Mitch as a quarterback. I have them at 7-9. And the Lions, I have finishing in last place. I think Stafford is good, and I like him a lot. I do. He is. He's good, but he never gets it done. And it might be a talent that surrounds him thing, but it doesn't matter. He just really hasn't gotten it done. So I have them finishing at 6-10.
Wow. Well, we are different on this division.
All right.
For sure.
All right. For sure.
I have the reigning, defending NFC North champion Chicago Bears defending their crown. Not with as good a record. I think they're gonna actually slip back a couple of games to like 11-5 because I think they were 13-3 last year. I've got them at 11-5. I've got them winning the division. The thing that I like, first of all, I love that Khalil Mack is now in his second full year with this team. Mm-hmm. This is that year where if you're the Bears, this is the progression year. This is that next step year for Mitch Trubisky, and I think he takes that step. But I think he's actually going to be a sneaky, dangerous fantasy quarterback, by the way. I like his weapons. I like Anthony Miller. I like Allen Robinson as his wideouts. If he's healthy, I love Trey Burton. That's a big if, because Trey Burton has been injured early, and he's starting to remind me of Tyler Eifert, which bugs me a little bit. But man, oh man, if Trey Burton is healthy, that's a really great weapon. And I love their backfield. David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. That should wreak some havoc. They have a powerful offense. And again, you'll notice I'm going to bring up fantasy quite a bit because I'm trying to bring a little bit of a fantasy tilt into this too. But from a defensive perspective, the Bears defense is being drafted as like a top 3 or 4 defense in fantasy. So they're good. They can turn the ball over. They get pressure on the quarterback. They will get sacks. And they'll probably score a few touchdowns. So I really like them. I like them at 11-5, winning the division. I've got the Packers just behind them at 10-6. Because again, this goes right back to, there's a lot of things on the Packers I don't trust. Mm-hmm. But the one thing you do trust is Aaron Rodgers. In A-Rod we trust. And you know what? He'll will that team to 10 wins on his own. He really will.
Man.
So this is where, and this is weird because I've got the Vikings. I've got 3 teams in this division having winning records. But the Vikings are going to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs because they're going to be 9-7. Mm-hmm. And then I've got the Lions, cellar dwelling at 5-11. But there are some things to watch out for with the Lions there.
I will put this back on the screen again because Ronnie is he's the Lions fan. He's a diehard Lions fan.
Okay.
And he is.
Well, okay, so I actually want to talk to.
He said don't sleep on the Lions D this year, and I told him I'm totally sleeping.
I actually am. I'm not. It's not their defense that I'm not sleeping on. It's actually their offense that I'm not sleeping on. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I really do. They've got some receiving threats. I love their new tight end, TJ Hawkinson. Love him out of Iowa. Big kid out of Iowa, man. He has been the far and away the best rookie tight end to come out of this draft, and I think he's going to make some noise. I actually drafted him as a backup tight end in one of my fantasy leagues. And listen, how do you not like Kerryon Johnson? Like, that dude's going to be, again, fantasy. Whoo, that is a top 5 running back, I think. Mm-hmm. I really do. He will produce because they've got enough weapons.
I hope they do. Honest. I like Matthew Stafford. I just feel like he never gets it done.
So do I. No, I have always liked Matthew Stafford. Me too. I've always liked him. Big arm, but
it's tough. Big arm and tough.
It's this is tough. It's this division is going to cause them problems because all these other teams, unfortunately, I think are a little bit better. Some are, I think, significantly better. So I think the Packers and the Bears are at a completely different tier above them, whereas I think the Vikings can, I could see that, but I could legitimately see them in that division going 2-4.
Yeah.
That, and right there, that puts you behind the 8 ball.
It does. Yeah. I think it's going to be a tough year for them. All right. Now let's get into the NFC South. I'll start off, of course. I have the Saints taking this division. Now, I don't have it like last year. I like the Saints. I really feel like they're going to start to decline, though. They might win the division this year, and I expect them to, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons also make the playoffs and the Falcons actually go deeper in the playoffs than the Saints. The Saints and Drew Brees are good, but not great anymore. Thankfully, they have Kamara, and that's why I have them still winning the division at 10-6.
And Kiko Alonso.
Yeah, that boy Kiko. Kiki.
Boy, he went from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Tell me about it, right? I know, that's so good for him. All right, so I also have Falcons in second place, and like I said, this division is going to be a battle between the top 2 teams. Freeman being back definitely helps Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan had one of the best years ever for him last year, but still finished 7-9. They will be better this year, but not hugely better. I have him at 9-7. Panthers, I just don't like Cam and his inconsistent nature. Sure, he'll give you some big wins, but those will usually be followed up by bad losses. He's also already banged up, so I have the Panthers at 7-9 this season. And the Bucks, really, I am not sure anyone cares about this team much, and they just aren't that good. They will finish the year at a mediocre 6-10, not bad enough to give you a good pick, not good enough to give you hope for the future. So Florida fans, between Tampa, Jacksonville, and Miami, just watch college this year.
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
Yeah. All right.
I can understand that. We're the same in this division.
Okay.
We're the same order. Yeah, I like the Saints at 11-5 to win it, and then it's sort of it's tight. The top 3 teams are tight because I've got Saints 11-5, I've got the Falcons at 10-6, and then I've got the Panthers 9-7, and the Bucks are 4. They're a 4-12 team.
Yeah.
They're another team that worries me too because I get the feeling that Bruce Arians is going to be like, all right, Jameis ain't my guy.
Yeah.
So they're another one in that conversation.
Jameis is one of those guys that can get you some sneaky wins, and that's why I think they're going to finish like 5-11 or 6-10, which isn't going to give them a top pick, but it'll also. It's just like that mediocre, that stinks. Like you've been accustomed to that with the Dolphins for a long time, where they go like 8-8 or 7-9, and it's like you're not great, but you're not terrible. It sucks. I did it with the Bills too. So anyway, I have a quick question for Ronnie before we leave, but and I'm going to say something before we switch over to our AFC. First thing, do you think Matt Patricia, or as I like to refer to him as Patricia, do you think that he will be out if they do start off really bad and they have to? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that as a head coach, they're going to just say, see you later at the end of the year if they have like a 6-10 season or like a 5-11 season? Are they going to be out? Are they just going to be out on Matt Patricia? I want to know, because obviously Bill Belichick's situation there with all his little minions that leave, they don't typically do very well. So on their own, I'd like to hear what he thinks. Does he think that they will just see you later and try somebody else, or are they just going to figure out a way to get away from Matthew Stafford? I don't know. All right. So anyway, I want to talk to Clint real quick because he said I told him that we'll be talking about the AFC in the next segment, and he said by next segment, do you mean next Friday? Or do you mean Friday? No. We are going to be ending this. We're going to be ending this show in like 3 seconds. Not 3 seconds, about a minute. And what we'll be doing is signing back on to be able to come right back into it with the AFC. And this way you will have, when you go to the YouTube page, you can click, NFC. You can just click on it, and so you'll be able to watch all the NFC stuff. You can click on the AFC and just watch all the AFC stuff. And then you'll be able to watch the Sort stuff, and it'll be all the Sort stuff. So they'll be much easier to track down. Okay? That's what I was talking about. So we will be back in just a few minutes to talk AFC. We'll see you, I don't know, about 60 seconds. See you soon.